On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, our board of directors and staff, we'd like to thank you for joining us today at our Impact Summit. We are so happy to provide you with data. As you leave today, you'll be receiving a white paper from us and other information. Please remember that on our website, you can already find last year's presentations on our website, and we will post today's information on our website as well. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the founding President and CEO of the Greater Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Our thanks to Wells Fargo. Daryl Montgomery, thank you for believing in the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for believing in the work that we're doing with DACA. To your entire team, we thank you. Please stand so they can recognize you, Daryl. Wells Fargo. We want to start out with the state of Hispanics in this city. And it's important to note that as Hispanics go, so goes Houston. We all succeed if Hispanics succeed. You know the demographics. You know we are over 42%. You're going to hear more from our professors and others who are going to talk to you about that. But we want to talk about the economic impact in Houston and some of the things that we are doing to position this city to continue to be number one. And that is a partnership with Stanford University on data that is specific to the Houston area and specific to Hispanic businesses. If you do a Google search, I guarantee you will find very little data specifically about entrepreneurs in Harris County and Houston. You'll find national information. You'll find information about New York and other cities. We're going to take the lead on that. We're going to continue to partner with institutions that will help us make that big difference. The other you should know is a source. As you know, last year Telemundo was very involved with us, and they provided us with some statistics. So for example, the projections are that we will grow close to $78 billion by 2022. Also, as you know, Hispanics are buying homes more than any other sector in this area. 7.5 billion in home purchases, comprising over 24% of the market. These statistics are important, and we're sharing these with individuals who are non-Hispanic so they understand the important role that Hispanics play in Houston, and that we are in fact a demographic who is spending, purchasing, investing. And the other is to know that 70% of Hispanics utilize credit cards and financial tools more so than they ever have. That is really important because we need to continue to make sure that we are establishing our credit, and that's why earlier, before this particular event, Mass Mutual held a seminar on financial planning to make sure, especially for our younger leaders, that they understand the importance of being fiscally responsible. Those are just a few of the many things that are occurring in our area. The other is education. How are we doing there? Between 2005 and 2015, the number of Hispanics in Harris County aged 25 or older had at least a bachelor's degree, and that grew by 88%. So you hear all of the negative things on the news, right? We're not voting, we're not educated, we don't have money, we're a burden on society. We are here to counter that argument. Yes, we have much more to do, but we're doing a lot. Dr. Kleinberg will have told you from Rice University that 70% of Latinos in Houston are between the ages of 18 and 44. It's a market we must pay attention to. As you look at the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the composition of our board of directors as an example, it would be very easy to fill it with Hispanics. 40% of our board is non-Hispanic because we believe it is our duty to work with others. When you look around this room, it is not only Hispanic. We cannot work in a silo. We must work together. So 3 areas that we're going to focus on today, and one of them is DACA. the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, thanks to our friends at Vincent and Elkins, has filed the amicus brief. We have been joined by what was at first only 8 organizations and 8 corporations to over 30, and we'll hear more when we have that conversation. But it is your Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and this board of directors who said, we will lead fearlessly on DACA. We will protect over 800,000 individuals who came here, no fault of their own, who are productive citizens of society and who contribute more than 1.7 million. They also are employed at some of the top Fortune 500 companies in this country: Apple, General Motors, Amazon, Wells Fargo, Chase, Walmart, and others. You'll learn more about that, but know that your investment sponsors and your time, volunteers and board members, these are some of our top priorities: DACA, Nafta, and Census. So you're going to learn more about where we are with DACA and how you can continue to stay abreast of that and continue to be on top of a very important issue that affects us all. The other, of course, is Nafta. This region depends heavily on Nafta and trade between the United States, Mexico, and Canada. $282 billion in annual trade with Canada and $243 billion in trade with Mexico. Your chamber has recently been in the Houston Chronicle in a question and answer section completely about NAFTA. Know that we also understand that we need partners to be able to defend and protect NAFTA. And we continue to collaborate with the Greater Houston Partnership and others to make sure we are at the table protecting NAFTA. Now, our recommendations are for that particular initiative is that we want to preserve this agreement and understand there will be some tweaks, but we also understand there is a need to modernize NAFTA, and we need to protect the American worker, and of course, provide a more energy-friendly NAFTA. We understand that, but we're going to be there to take care of business and to take care of the Houston area with NAFTA. The other area that's very important to us is the census. You have received a copy of the op-ed that was in the Houston Business Journal. You're going to continue to see us in the media talking about the census. To give you an example, if just 20,000 people do not complete the census in Harris County, just 20,000, this will be a deficit of $17 million for the city of Houston. This is not a Hispanic issue. This is a Houston issue. This is a Harris County issue. And our judge will touch more upon why this is relevant and why this is so very important. But just know that your Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in 2018 has been already at the table, not only with Mayor Turner, but with representatives from Washington, D.C., who came down, met with the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, and the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So we are there. We are advocating for you. And the last is, of course, understanding that we can't do it all on our own. We have great partners. We have great individuals that always step up to the plate for us so that we can continue to do this work. And the state of Hispanics is that we will continue to advocate and take our place at the table and not as a second-class citizen. We have talented people that we can go to. We must unite. We must understand that voting or not voting has consequences. So there is much to be done in those areas. But on our 3 top priorities, NAFTA, DACA, and Census, you have our commitment that we will continue to do the right thing for you and to speak on it at every occasion. On that note, I'd like to ask our underwriter, Daryl Montgomery from Wells Fargo, to please join us to welcome you on behalf of Wells Fargo. He is the regional president and was one of the first companies that joined us when we filed the amicus brief with Vincent and Elkins.
At Wells Fargo, we're super excited about the partnership that we have with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They are strong advocates of making sure that the right things are being done in the Hispanic community, and we support that at Wells Fargo. We know that the Hispanic community is growing, and it's growing at a rapid rate, and that's a good thing. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind when you look at the Hispanic growth rate, your community will govern future politics in this United States, the economy of this Houston city, as well as the economy throughout the U.S. and the culture of the communities that we live in for years to come. That is something that you should be extremely proud of. And you should be extremely proud of the fact that the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is supporting you every step of the way. And that's why we support the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We love the fact that they're committed and they're advocates for the Hispanic community, because we know that there's lots of opportunities in that community. And you will continue to grow. You will continue to make a difference in the communities that we serve. And Wells Fargo wants to be here for you.
From the beginning, Wells Fargo has supported community organizations like United Way, nonprofits like the American Red Cross, and our nation's veterans. We knew helping our communities was important then, and we know it's even more important today. So we're stepping up to volunteer more and donate over $1 million every day so our communities can be even stronger. It's a new day at Wells Fargo, but it's a lot like our first day.
I'd like to take a moment to let you all know that the role that the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has had with Harris County. It has been a very positive role. Judge Emmett, at every occasion, has taken our call, has accepted our meetings. We've had very engaging, interesting conversations every time that we've had the opportunity to visit. When he talked to us about the $2.5 billion bond initiative, we were there, we were at press conferences, we were sending out information on social media. We had it on Intercom Radio, on our CBS television show, on our Univision radio program, on our Univision television program. At every occasion, we took the time to make sure people understood that this bond was very important. Your judge has been very helpful to the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, as have the other county commissioners. And so on behalf of our board, Judge, we'd like to thank you for all you do, and especially for putting up with me. Thank you.
The bond is real easy to talk about. How many of you suffered flood damage during Harvey? How many of you know somebody who suffered flood damage during Harvey? See, that's what makes it easy, because I said it over and over, and I was dead serious. There is no more important election in my lifetime than that bond election, because no matter what business you're in, no matter what part of the county you live in, if we don't get serious about making our community resilient, then everything else is just for naught. And so that bond, once we decided to go past $1 billion, the truth of the matter is $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion, it's all just dollars. $2.5 billion really isn't enough to do what we need to do, but it certainly is a good down payment, and it sends a clear signal to the rest of the state and the rest of the nation that locally, just as we did during Harvey, when people helped each other regardless, they didn't care what party you were, they didn't care what ethnicity you were, what religion you were, we helped each other. Well, that's what the bond was all about. And I confess, I was surprised. 86% approving to raise taxes for flood control was a remarkable thing. What's fascinating about the census that most people don't know, it's required to count everybody in the country as of January 1. I think that's the date. I'm looking at somebody down there, maybe they can help. But it's on a specific day, everybody who's in the country. So all the discussion about who should be counted, we shouldn't even be discussing it. We've got to make sure everybody's counted. That's the whole point of the census. It's whoever is here on the date of the census. And so, yes, we need everybody to fill out their forms, but we also need to make sure there's a process in place, because not everybody in the entire country is going to fill out a form. We have to make sure, and that's why the city and the county, we've already got a task force underway, and we're working with all groups like yours to make sure that everybody is counted, because that's what determines how many districts we get for Congress, how much money comes down under various federal formulas. It is a important decision, and it lasts for 10 years. Yes. So that's why it's important to get it done right.
Now, some changes that you should be aware of that were brought to our attention when we met with the individuals from Washington. They are moving to an online census. Doesn't mean they won't still have the paper form, but there is a big push to have this completed online. Also, they have cut the budget to have people out in the field. So our response to that was very strong in the sense that we believe that, number one, going online will limit many Latinos, especially those who are low income, who do not have access to a computer, may not know how to use a computer, and may be still reeling from the effects of the breach of confidence through DACA and so many other of the things that we've seen at the national level. Those are very big concerns. And the other was the hiring of the few individuals that will be out in the field. Our request to them has been that they be from Houston and that they partner with organizations that are trusted in this community. Otherwise, we will lose on every one of those areas. And so if you are affiliated with a church, a nonprofit, please make sure you're talking to them about census, because there will be a time when the census will come in and determine where they will set up these posts as we have recommended, where they will have the computers there so that people can trust that they can fill them out. And so we've got a lot of challenges. The census has always been a challenge for Hispanics. It's even much more of a challenge today. And rest assured, I'll say it again, as Hispanics go, so goes Houston, so goes Harris County, Judge.
Absolutely, and the fear that's still in the community is tough to overcome.
Welcome back to our show. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We know that you've been keeping up with all that's going on with our Houston Fire Department. We know most recently we were able to, with your support, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and so many others, approve the $2.5 billion that's going to go toward Harris County flood relief, et cetera. Today, though, we want to talk specifically about the Houston Fire Department, our first responders, what a great job they've done, and a couple of issues they've got on the agenda, including pay parity. So if you're out there, we know that we've been posting information regarding these town halls. Participate, get more information. In the interim, let's hear from our chief, Samuel Peña. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Murillo. Good to see you and your staff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. You've been so engaged with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I know you're making the rounds out there with the mayor and others talking about the great job that the fire department is doing.
Absolutely.
We do need to come to some agreement as it relates to pay parity. For folks that may not know what's going on, let's get them all caught up.
Sure, and you mentioned it, and you're correct. This pay parity initiative was brought forth by the Firefighters Association,
Yes.
and it seeks to get comparable pay with police department
Yes.
in regards to rank and seniority. So and we are having town hall meetings. They're going to be posted on the city's website, and we encourage people to come out and listen to the facts
Yes.
as far as what the impact of this parity is.
Yes.
And you know, from our perspective, the item is estimated to cost about $98 million the first year.
Okay.
And you know, certainly knowing the financial state that the city is in, we're going to have to look internally, because due to the revenue cap, we have no opportunity to expand the runway, so to speak.
Yes.
Right, to be able to absorb those $98 million. So we're going to have to look internally to see what we do as far as restructuring to be able to accommodate and absorb some of that obligation. Now, the fire department won't be able to absorb all $98 million. So we're going to have to look citywide, and so it's going to have an impact, and that's why this is an important issue. And we encourage people to come out and hear the information at these town hall meetings.
Yes.
And it's a town hall meeting where you can ask questions
Sure.
and get clarifications. And I think it's important to make an informed decision before we go out to the polls.
And it's like anyone, even your household budget.
Right.
you have X amount of dollars
Right.
and you want to do something, and sometimes it's, okay, well, if we do this, then
Right.
we can't do these others.
Exactly.
And so that's exactly the conversation. And it's not just a one-time, it will happen in perpetuity, correct?
Absolutely. This is so the initiative, the first year will be a cost of, the estimated cost of $98
Yes.
million.
Yes.
The same for the second year, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Now, if this passes, the pay raises will be attached to whatever police department gets. So if the police department obtains a raise, the equivalent raise will be given to the fire department, so the cost will go up. And now, you mentioned as far as the budget, and I'm going to try to go through this real quick. The fire department, this fiscal year's budget is $503 million. It's huge.
Yes.
But 91% of it is wages and benefits. So operationally, we're working on a small percentage of that. Actually, I'm working off of about $20 million operationally to provide equipment, supplies, materials, everything the firefighters need.
So that's all that's left.
That's all that's left. So knowing that, there's no way I can absorb $98 million and
So
still
it would
deliver
have
the
to come
service.
somewhere else. And the citizens of Houston will make that decision?
The citizens of Houston will get an opportunity to vote November 6th.
Yes.
And we're providing information as far as what would happen if we had to absorb those $98 million, and some of the proposals that we're putting forth as far as restructuring to be able to accommodate if we need to go that route. But so that's very informative. It's very important because you are correct, Dr. Murillo. This is going to affect the taxpayer from now into perpetuity.
Right, because it's not a one-time thing,
Exactly.
it will continue. Well, we encourage everyone who's watching to make sure, get out to the town halls. The mayor's there,
Right.
the fire chief is going to be there. They want to answer your questions, get informed, because as you say, on the surface it may be an easy decision, but when you look at the dollars and our limited resources,
Right.
we're going to have to make some tough decisions. And as, of
Yes.
course, we support our firefighters, our police officers, our municipal employees. We're working with some very restricted dollars to make sure that you can help them make the right decisions for us. Fire Chief, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you.
us. Thanks for all you do, and we appreciate
ma'am.
your engagement with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you and the work that you do.
Thank you
Dr.
so
Murillo.
much. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome to CBS. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We always enjoy spending our program visiting with members, learning about their projects and what it means for Houston. Joining us today is Emilio Guzman. He is Executive Vice President and Chief Investor Relations for Houston EB5. Let's learn a little bit about Houston EB5 by welcoming Emilio. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Laura. Always
Well,
good to see you.
I know that you and I have known each other for many years, and it's been very exciting to see the work that you're doing and the work of the team. Tell us a little bit about Houston EB5.
Well, we are a regional center
Yes.
approved by Immigration Services of the United States.
Yes.
Which means that we can invite foreign nationals to participate in our real estate projects
Okay.
through the EB5 program, which basically it's a program where they can be eligible to get permanent residence in the United States
Okay.
by investing in a qualified real estate project like the ones we develop.
So it's qualified. The investment level, has it changed? I know that there's been some changes most recently. What is the investment level today?
Today is 500,000 on a
Okay.
target employment area.
Okay.
There has been many conversations about a future change coming pretty soon. That change might increase the amount to $925 to $1 million per investor.
Well, let's talk about your buildings and projects. First of all, let me say they are absolutely first class, beautiful buildings. Tell
Thank
us
you.
about some of your favorite ones that are around the city.
Well, we've built two in the Galleria area, two
Yes.
high-rise towers, beautiful
Yes.
ones.
Yes.
One that is more Art Deco style.
Yes,
the other
Astoria,
one,
right?
Astoria.
Yes.
Arabella, that it's a more modern, more sophisticated look. We're going to be delivering the Arabella building by the end of this year.
Incredible.
It is almost sold out. We're very, very happy about that tower. It's in an amazing location.
Yes.
We also have two projects in downtown. One that is Marlowe. It's also high-rise, 20 stories, a block away from the Toyota Center. So
Incredible.
we're right at the heart of downtown.
Yes.
And another mid-rise building that we finished up last year.
Where are all these people coming from? I mean, we see all of this construction. What are you finding in terms of people who are moving downtown to Marlow and other places? Are they leaving the suburbs? Are they coming to Houston from other cities? A combination?
There's a combination. Certainly, a lot of people that are moving from the suburbs into the downtowns and inner loops.
Yes.
But there's always people coming from Latin America, Europe, and other places in the world that just want a better and safer life for their
Sure.
families.
So the market is there. You guys are selling job creation, as you mentioned, a very big component to all of this.
Yes, correct. We've created thousands of jobs with these buildings, and we have 100% approvals on all our EB5 cases with all the investors, so we couldn't be happier.
Well, on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we want to thank you, Roberto Contreras, the entire Houston EB5 team, for your engagement in the Chamber of Commerce, your investment, and we wish you all continued success.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Laura.
you so much. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to CBS. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Joining us is Hector De Leon. He's Director of Communications and Voter Outreach for Stan Standard's Harris County Clerk. Well, we know it's an important time. We're getting ready for some elections that are coming up, and a lot of conversation about what's going to happen here in Houston, Harris County, Texas, and the country. So Hector De Leon is going to talk to us a little bit more about the efforts from their office and what we can expect. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a great partner of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Well, we're here. It's going to be a very interesting time. So tell us a little bit about what we should know about the Latino electorate in Harris County.
Well, what folks need to know that every year there's more Latinos voting than ever, and in particular the last presidential election and
Yes.
the last elections, we've had more Latinos vote here in Harris County
Okay.
than ever. So we expect the same thing to happen this
So
year.
I think there was an increase about 12%. Was that correct?
It was a pretty good increase. In
Yes.
fact, for the presidential elections, we had about 70,000 more Latino
Yes.
voters
Yes.
in 2016 than we did in 2012.
70,000 more.
So, and that's and we are pretty sure that that number was reflected not just in Harris County, but across the state. So Latinos are having an impact
Yes.
in elections
Yes.
continually, and it's continuing to grow.
Well, and we could actually be that swing vote if we just got out there and voted. And a lot of people talk about, well, do we need to register? Do we need to vote? In your opinion, it's what?
Participate, because they are, if you actually look at the raw numbers, what it says is that about 80% of all Latinos who are eligible to register to vote are registered.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of turning out, and we're seeing that more people are turning out. What we need to think about when actual voting happens is that we can't think about our size of population. We need to think about our size of the people who are actually 18 years of age and eligible to register to vote. And when you compare it to that number, you see the growth, and you see
Yes.
that we are growing. If you
Yes.
think about the bigger number, the expectations are always going to be more than what the
reality
is.
So we're looking at Latinos constituting 27% of the citizen voting age population.
Right. And we are currently about 22% of the registered voters, pushing 23% of the registered voters in Harris County. That means we're only 4% short of matching where we need to be.
Capacity.
So we're not doing that badly. What do you see? So we do
Yes.
matter. Both any candidate, no matter what party they represent, they need to understand that the Latino vote matters, and you need to get a
Yes.
certain percentage and be able to win in Harris County.
Thank you, Hector. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. We seek to empower our members through a diverse range of programs and initiatives. The Chamber provides the business community with resources needed to build economic success. For more information, please visit our website at www.houstonhispanicchamber.com.